Good evening, everybody, and welcome again to Throat Punch Thursday. If you're catching this on the replay, go ahead and hit hashtag replay in the comments so that I know you watched. And we're gonna, of course, start off with an Ask and It Is Given card. This is one of the Abraham Hicks decks, and I really love this one for just energy, intention, and general well-being. I feel like it really helps me get into the mood, the connected mood. Really quick, I guess maybe before I pull that card. Oh, I need my bones. Okay, I have my bones tonight, and I'm going to throw bones. So what that means for people tuning in for the first time ever watching me reading bones, that means that you can ask a yes or no question tonight. I do ask that you be specific. Okay, so give me time frames if you have questions. And also, in addition to being specific, don't ask questions that you don't want answers to. Yep, Holly's on. Hi, Holly. Yes, Holly, I'm going to throw the bones tonight to do readings. So you guys can ask a yes or no question. And maybe a couple yes or no questions. I feel like those readings are going to go a little bit quicker than card readings. So I'm going to go ahead and you can ask yes or no questions. Put those in the comments. Please be specific, especially around time frames. So like instead of asking, am I going to get a new job or something like that, ask something like, am I going to get a new job in the next 2 weeks or 6 months, something like that. So be specific, ask yes or no questions, and do not ask things that you do not wish to know. And I will go ahead and do those readings for you. But really quick, I'm going to pull this Ask and It Is Given card. Feel free to put the yes or no questions in the comments. I am here for it. I am here for it. And there we go. There's our Ask and It Is Given. Be brave, people. This is not just a general reading tonight. You have to actually think of a yes or no question to ask. So this might get a little dicey, maybe a little throat punchy. So the card I picked, it says, when I reverse the thought, I reverse the condition. And it's a beautiful picture of ripples in a pond. It says there is no condition so severe that you cannot reverse it by choosing different thoughts. However, choosing different thoughts requires focus and practice. If you continue to focus as you have been, to think as you have been, and to believe as you have been, then nothing in your experience will change. And so this is a really great piece of advice, okay? This is advice that, again, reminds us that we can shift and transmute all things. We can shift and transmute all things with our intention, with our energy, with our own divine power. And I am not one of those love and light people. I really don't think that you can shift yourself out of like a crazy disease or like out of autism. I feel like that's a really big thing. It's April 1st, people. April is Autism Awareness Month. I don't think essential oils or your mindset will shift you out of autism. So these are some things that some of us were given and some of us live with those things. And I don't think that you should look at some of your health challenges or whatever you want to call your identity or your way of being as a challenge or as something you should transmute or shift. But this is a reminder that your mindset always shifts your energy, and that suffering, the Buddha says anyway, suffering is a state of mind. And so we do not have to suffer. We do not have to suffer. The only suffering exists when we are tormenting ourselves, when we are being critical of ourselves, and when we are fearing judgment, not living our lives in closest to our most authentic expression. And we shouldn't be doing that. We should not be doing that, people. Live in authentic expression with yourself and understand that your mindset shifts all. It's the key to unlocking so much power. And while you can't shift out of everything, right, you can shift out of a lot of things. There's a lot you can change. Okay. I'm still shuffling these cards, but I'm not going to read from them. Okay. I've got my bones now, and they make a lovely sound when I kind of rattle them around. I'm going to hold these. Maybe I cleanse them a little bit. Okay. And Becky has a question about potential love within the next month. So let's see. What does this mean for Becky in this next coming month? Okay. And so we have got 3 sheeps and 1 goat. And so the way these bones work, by the way, is they have 4 sides. And so I look at all of the sides, and then I I come up with an answer based on what the bones look like. So maybe one day I'll have 2 cameras and I'll be able to show you the bones and give you the reading at the same time, but we'll see. We're not going to get ahead of ourselves. But anyways, this is 3 sheeps and a goat. So what this means, Becky, is other people's powers will win. So I would say don't look for love right now. I would say that shouldn't be the focus of this month. And instead, think of ways that you can be happy in yourself, or think of ways that you can care for yourself, or think of other people that you can connect with. And maybe those other connections and that radical act of self-care and self-love will inspire you to find this new connection that you are seeking out. So I always think that's really good. That's good general advice. Just, being present in yourself and trying to take care of yourself and seeing where that leads you. I think Becky's pretty good at self-care. I'm not going to call you out too much, but there's other people like cough, cough me that are not the best at self-care. And that might be something that a lot of people who are tuning into this live stream are maybe witnessing in their own lives. Maybe you notice that there's a lot of things that you desire or a lot of things that you're working towards. And it's so hard to achieve those things because it feels like you're drowning. It feels like your needs aren't being met. That is such a stark reminder for all of us that we need to have self-care. And self-care looks like more than wine and bubble baths. Yes, sometimes that is self-care, but self-care is being respectful of your needs, being respectful of your boundaries, and being respectful of your own balance, always protecting your balance. And so then Becky says, thank God she doesn't really want a boyfriend. That's good. I mean, then the bones are being true to you, and that's really wonderful. But anybody tuning into this live stream, ask a yes or no question in the comments. I would love to read for you. And when you ask your yes or no question, be specific. Okay, be specific. And so what I mean by that is ask for specific time frames, ask for very specific questions, and don't ask something that you don't really want to know the answer to. But we're going to go ahead and throw bones for Holly. And she says, will I get the promotion or job that I apply for in the next 4 months? So Holly is looking for change and energy and career in the next 4 months. And is that going to shift for her? Okay. And so I got that one. It's dark in here. Sorry. That's a camel, 2 camels, 1 horse, and 1 goat. 2 camels, 1 horse, and 1 goat. Okay. So this says you will, Holly, you will be without obstacles. And so what that means to me, that's a very strong positive movement, positive motion forward. And so what I would say in terms to job energy, that looks really good for you. That looks like you have tapped into a situation, into an energy where you are well qualified and where you are wanted. While there are many jobs and while many people have many qualifications for many jobs, not many people actually like who they work with, and not many people actually align with the companies that they are pursuing careers at. And so that's a really important thing. So to me, this feels like it's without any obstacles, and this feels like a lot of forward motion for you. So I would say that's a definite positive. There's a Facebook user who just commented, I would love a read. So I'm throwing bones tonight. So you have to ask a yes or no question. So go ahead and comment yes or no question. Don't ask anything you don't want to know, and be specific about times. And this Facebook user says, I'd love to know, will my baby be born early than his due date, May 22nd? So we can ask that. Will this baby be born earlier than May 22nd? And we'll see what the bones say. And so we got 2 sheep, 1 camel, and 1 horse. This says someone will bring you news. That's such a weird answer to this question. So what I would say again in response to this question is someone will bring you news. So my general advice for expecting parents is that babies know when they're going to be born. And what I feel from the energy of this situation is that things will unfold in a surprising and beneficial way and a beneficial circumstance. So I do not know for certain what that means. The kind of convoluted answer that somebody will bring you news means to me that this baby wants to keep you on your toes and wants to keep you guessing. So I have no definitive answers for that one. But I would say that the energy of that situation is very playful, and I don't see anything bad or ominous about that at all. And I hope that's helpful. Facebook user says, will I be facing loss in my life soon? I'm going to put a time frame on this question. And so I'm going to say in the next month. I think that'll be good. Anybody else who is tuning in, feel free to leave a yes or no question in the comment. I don't mind doing a couple questions for you all because I feel like these questions are a little bit quicker than card reads. So you can definitely ask more than one question. I'm open to that. But ask a yes or no question. Please be specific, especially in regards to timing. And don't ask things that you don't want to know. But we're going to go ahead and pull for this Facebook user. So will I be facing loss in my life soon? And we'll say, will this person experience loss in the next month? Okay. And so I got 2 horses, one sheep. Okay. 2 horses, 1 sheep, and 1 camel. Okay, so that says with luck and happiness. So what this means for you, this Facebook reader, I would say that whatever's going on in your life, it might look a little dicey right now, but the energy is in good alignment. The energy is even. The energy is level. The energy is slowly moving forward. It doesn't look like anything like catastrophic is going to happen. And so I think that that looks good for the next month. What the energy tells me from this reading and from this situation is that this should be a time for you to tune in and a time for really deep gratitude. And so I'm not really sure what that means for you in your specific situation, but I know in myself, if I am feeling stuck or I'm feeling like, you know, this stuff is way too much for me, sometimes it really helps for me to just kind of take a step back, to look at the big picture of my life and to have gratitude for whatever it is that I'm experiencing. Some experiences, some situations, some things are really super hard and it's hard to find gratitude in that moment. But I do think generally with most situations, it is more beneficial to you, more mentally healthy, more emotionally healthy for you to be able to find a benefit. So maybe there is something going on in your life that is, you know, overwhelming right now, but the general energy and response that I would give you is try to seek opportunities for gratitude. And like I said before at the beginning of this video, you know, your life is really transmuted and is dictated by your mindset. And everything is going to happen to you. Like good things are going to happen to you in your life. Bad things are going to happen to you in your life. And the only thing that you are in control of is the way that you respond to things and the way that you spend your energy. And so this is a really good, I think, reminder, a really good message for you to be aware of your energy and that what happens will happen with or without you. And so you might as well have a good perspective about it, or at least that's how I see the world. And I hope that was helpful. Holly says she likes this type of reading and that she needed a positive for this week. Well, I hope it helps. The bones are real cheeky to me when I ask questions. But anybody else tuning in, feel free to ask a yes or no question. Be specific on timing and don't ask questions that you don't want the answers to. But Holly messages and she says, in my current career, should I go further in my education within this year? Okay, that's great. So the question I will ask is, should Holly seek additional training this year for her career? Let's see. Okay, we've got 2 sheeps, 1 goat, 1 camel, 2 sheeps, 1 goat, 1 camel. So this says, without any success, you must try well. And so what this answer particularly means to this particular question in this particular situation is that you have what you need already. You already have it. You have all of the qualification, you have all the insight, you have all of the education, but you should always be in this mindset where you are continually making things better for yourself, where you're honing your craft, where you're tuning into what you know is best. So what I would say is, if you find trainings or continuing educations or things and you're like, that really lights my soul on fire, you should take that training. Absolutely. But don't go seeking out things. I wouldn't say that it's time to really improve yourself or to really work on new skills or things like that. If you find things that are resonant, go for it. But don't go in an outward search for new training and things like that. Facebook user said, thanks, it was helpful. You're very welcome. I'm glad that that was helpful. Let's see. Leith Patterson on YouTube says, may I have a reading? Sure, Leith. I am doing yes or no questions. And so just ask a yes or no question in the comments. Be specific on timing, and do not ask things that you don't want to know. And while I wait, I am going to pull another Ask and It Is Given card. Anybody else tuning in on the stream, feel free to ask a yes or no question. And I would love to throw the bones for you tonight. I always like throwing the bones. I feel like I said, it takes a shorter amount of time. I can get to more questions. And I feel like in some ways it's cheeky, but it's very direct answers. So I enjoy the bones. I'm really glad that I was able to pick up that form of divination. That's really wonderful. Okay, so my Ask and It Is Given card says, I am in the perfect position to get there from here. And it's a picture, it looks like kind of calm waters and a boat. It's beautiful. And it says, nothing has to change in your environment or in the circumstances that surround you for you to begin to deliberately allow your own connection to the stream of well-being. You are in the perfect place right now to begin. And so again, this is kind of Abraham Hicks lingo and jargon, but this card is a very good expression of the fact that well-being, again, just like suffering, is in the mind. And so you can choose to suffer, and you can choose to ruminate, and you can choose to think about things over and over and over again, or you can choose to align with well-being and to think about well-being. That, I think, should be the highest expression, the highest, thought on our mind most of the time. Like, how can I be well? How can I protect my well-being? How can I protect my balance? And I think that when you start to shift your mindset and ask yourself, how can I protect my well-being? That really helps you. It helps you start to see opportunities that maybe were hidden from you before. It helps you start to see connections that maybe were hidden from you before. It helps you start to see life differently. And I think that that is really important. That's really important, especially if you are feeling stuck. And so this is, again, a really wonderful, somewhat gentle reminder that it doesn't matter where you are right now. It doesn't matter how bad life might have gotten or might have treated you. You always have the wherewithal and the value and the ability to shift your mental well-being into focusing on what is going to be best and most beneficial for you. Leith from YouTube says, have I met my soulmate or twin flame yet? I have an interesting view about soulmates. Or twin flames. So I'm going to ask about soulmates instead. And maybe one day I'll do a YouTube video about twin flames. We'll see. But Leith, I will ask, has Leith yet met his soulmate or a lifelong partner? Hang on. We'll throw the bones. Okay. So we have a sheep, 2 goats, 1 sheep. What is this one? A camel. 2 goats, 1 sheep, 1 camel. So this says fortunate on someone else's side. So Leith, what this makes me think is that you either have not yet met this person, this intended partner, this life partner, this person that you're going to spend a lot of your time with, or you've met this person indirectly and they're in a relationship with somebody else. And so I hope that helps you, Leith, and that gives you a little bit of direction. I gave a little bit of advice earlier on the stream, but I would say the same thing to you. Go have fun. Go be yourself. Go feel what you want to feel and go experience enjoyment and go live your life so fully in the present moment. and wait and see how intent opens up for you and what new doors open up to you and what new opportunities and connections open up to you. I think that that person is out there, and maybe you have seen them, maybe you have crossed paths, but you have yet to realize the potential in that particular connection. Cassie says, will I make any romantic connection in the next 6 months? So let's go ahead and ask, will Cassie make some romantic connection in the next 6 months? Okay. This is 3 sheeps and 1 goat. And it says others' powers will win. So Cassie, I feel like that's the exact same answer that Becky got when I pulled a relationship question for her. And the answer is, it's time to focus more on you than on other people. That if you put your focus to finding a partner, that partner won't come. I don't know why the universe works like that. It's like we have this unspoken principle that if something is lost, you can't find it. And I think it's because a lot of us are looking for things in our life that we don't have. And so our intention of finding them is actually not quite the right vibe check. And the vibe that we're putting out there is, I don't have this thing and I really want it. So the universe is showing us all of these examples of how we don't have the thing that we really want. And so again, I would give the same exact advice as for the last reading. Be so authentically you that it's impossible for you to not have fun. And anybody else that you meet, any other connections, like, I don't know, you go out to a weird party or a weird, I don't know, get together, trade show, something like that, and you like just meet these random people and experience new people in your lives. I really strongly feel like that is the energy that a lot of us need, but especially for you right now. We have been so cloistered with the pandemic. We've just been like in ourselves, in our lives, and we've not had the opportunity to mix and to meet with other people. Most of us have stayed pretty firm in our small circles. While that's good, we've been able to build a lot of connection. I really feel like we need to shake the jar a little bit. We need to get out there and start experiencing things. So what I am hoping for and what I'm holding space for is that the summer and the warm months will open up opportunities for us to meet each other outside. And so that is my intention for you, Cassie. And I hope that you are able to enjoy many things and find many new people. My name buddy Brittany says, I'd like to ask, will my health be decent enough to complete goals that I have for my son this summer? Okay, that's a very specific question. Thank you for that, Brittany. Anybody else who is tuning into this stream, feel free to ask a yes or no question. Please be specific and don't ask things that you don't want to know the answers to. But going back to Brittany's question, I am going to ask, will Brittany be in well health enough to attend to her son to the best of her abilities and to her expectations this summer? I got, all right, yeah, okay. So you got 2 sheeps and 2 horses. And so what that means is sometimes life throws you a curveball and you keep moving forward and you do it to the best of your abilities, even though it's hard. And so the energy of this situation is very level, very even, very sturdy. To me, it says stability. And so what I would say is that I think that you are a source of stability in your son's life and that you will be able to do things with your son. But sometimes health does get in the way. And so my advice to you would be, if you're in the middle of doing things or you're trying to plan things, don't tell your kids about plans unless you are 100% certain that you can do them. So what I mean by that is, maybe you have, family members, or you plan to make, on next Thursday, I'm going to go to the park and picnic with my kids or something. You make plans with them. And then that day comes and you're just tired. You can't do it. Your health is in the way. And then you disappoint your kids. So my little secret, a spoony secret, living with chronic health issues myself, is I don't tell my kids if we're going to make plans and do things. That's partly because I don't trust other adults I plan with, but it's also because I feel like I don't want to disappoint my kids. So unless I know for certain that I am going to do something, I don't tell them about it. And so that would be my advice to pass along to you as well. Don't tell your kids, don't tell your son that we have all these things coming up and we're planning all these things unless you really intend to do them. And sometimes things come up, but your son doesn't have to know things come up. You can just tell him day of, oh yes, I had plans this day. I didn't tell him about it. I'm feeling great. And guess what? Today we're going to do this thing. And so, and I hope that that's helpful, Brittany. Holly comments and says that I'm speaking to you on the week. Yeah. Good, Holly. Yeah, I think that that's why we experience triggers. So basically what Holly says is that she's been in a really strong energy of refocusing herself and her own energy for her own mental well-being and for her kids as well. I think that's so important. I think that's what hard times do. I think that's what trauma does. I think that's what triggers do. I think everything hard that we experience is meant to give us like clarity. Honestly, it's meant to show us like, look, this is what's possible. All this bad, horrible shit, this is possible. But the other side of this is there's so much love, there's so much fortune, there's so much blessing, there's so much gratitude to be had in this life. And when you are able to experience really bad things, it's such a gift, man. It's such a gift because it teaches you compassion. It teaches you things about yourself, and it gives you an opportunity to act and respond to things in a way that you couldn't have even imagined. Like all of these battles that you are fighting, they are hardening you, and not to make you so that you're cold, but these battles harden you so that you are more solidified in your authentic self, and you're able to walk forward in truth and peace and in authenticity and closest alignment with who you really are. And I hope that's helpful. And Aleth Patterson says, interesting, thank you. You're very welcome. I hope that helps. LaDonna pops by and says, will I find an extra income source that I love this month? Okay, so for the month of April, will LaDonna be able to find extra source or stream of revenue? I'm going to ask that question. And we got 2 sheeps, 1 goat, 1 horse. LaDonna, this says you will hear good news. And so what that says to me is that you are already on the lookout for good opportunities. You're already got your ears peeled. Maybe you've told some friends and some connections that you're looking for new revenue streams. And this looks favorable for you. This looks like there could be good opportunities that are down on the way for you. And so I think that looks good. That looks very favorable. Brittany says, thank you. I'm a spoony too. It's all about the spontaneous trips. Yes, exactly, Brittany. Yeah, like I was saying before, we don't have to tell our kids about our plans. Just know when you know, and that's good. Like everything in my life recently has been just loose plans where I have ideas about things that I want to do and places I want to go, but I'm not making any solid plans because I don't feel like it. What if things fall through, or what if things turn out disappointing? It doesn't matter. I'm going to get where I'm going. I just don't feel like I need to have plans. I think plans are subjective. Sometimes I'm really in a goal setting mood, and I just haven't been the last couple months. Deja says, will a career change be beneficial for my mental health? Sure, I will ask this for you, Deja. Is a career change beneficial to Deja's mental well-being? And you got 2 sheeps, 2 horses. I think that we just pulled bones for a different question, but it was the same. It was the same answer. So this basically means that you have to work hard. You have to work hard right now. And this is going to be a lot of work, but it is better for you to switch what you're doing. And so I'm not saying jump out and leave your job right now, but no company owns you. No boss owns you. You have the right, you have the ability to look for other things while you have a job. You have the right and the ability to start your own business. You have the right and the ability to put your resume out there to other people. And so my recommendation to you would be look for other things. Keep your mind open. keep your possibilities open. Maybe tell a couple friends like, hey, I am looking for something different. I'm looking for a lifestyle change or a career change. So the energy is favorable for you to make that change, but it's not without obstacle. Everything is difficult. And one of the things that I really like to tell people, if they are trying to manifest their way out of the situation that they're currently in, they want something that's totally different, I think the best way to manifest that is to bless and have gratitude for your current situation. Bless it so much. Think of all the things that you love about your job. Think about how it supported you, how you're able to pay your bills, and how you're able to live and to express, and maybe to even buy some extra things that you didn't need but that you wanted. So think about all the positives of your job. Do not waste your time thinking about all the negatives, because I promise you, if you're constantly attracting the negatives and thinking about the negatives in your job, when you do manifest this new position for yourself or this new opportunity for yourself, you're going to find the same types of people and the same types of situations that burned you out in the first place. So first and foremost, send blessings. Even if you have to sit and do a writing exercise, maybe a journaling exercise, write it down and really make note of what you're thankful for about this current position. And it'll be much easier to find a new harmonious position. Most people know all of the things they don't want. And it's very easy for us to recognize what we don't want. We've experienced things in our life that have either upset us or made us uncomfortable. So we know that. We understand the things that we don't want. But what is it that you do want? That's just as important as knowing what you don't want. And if you are not sure what you do want, the universe will keep showing you what you don't want. So keep that in mind. Move forward, and it might be work, but understand nobody owns you. Nobody owns you. You are able to move forward and to make decisions. And like I said, put yourself out there. Put your resume out there. Get help. Tell other people you're looking for a new change of position. You don't know who your people know. Maybe somebody knows something that's just such a perfect harmonious match for you, and that it would be a good transition. You never know unless you ask. So keep your energy open in those opportunities. Anybody else joining in on the stream, feel free to ask a yes or no question. I would also like to ask at this time, what should I read from next week? I could do the chakra deck again. I could read from my cat deck. I have a Lord of the Rings tarot deck that I like to use as an oracle deck, and I haven't done that one in probably about a year. But I also have a Soulful Woman deck. Is there anything that you think I should read from? Is there anything that jumps out from you, or should I pull bones again? I like doing all of this stuff. And yeah, send me a PM or send me a comment and let me know what you want to see. Cassie says, thank you. Being cloistered has been challenging since I value connection. Yeah. Yep. I feel you right there. I still have a pretty high moving energy job, and I do see quite a bit of people throughout the week. But it's not as much people as I'm used to seeing. I'm like a super extroverted person. I get a lot of energy from connection and communication with people. So the pandemic's been really hard on me too, because I like to get out. I used to get out and see friends and things like that 3 times a week-ish. And now it's maybe once every couple of months, just because I'm trying to limit exposure. So I feel you. I think all of us feel that. And hopefully things will change soon. Welcome, Marissa. I can see you and I can see your comment. So I'm throwing bones tonight. Feel free to ask a yes or no question, and I will answer it for you. Be specific and don't ask anything you don't want to know. Brittany, Alexandra, and Glover says Lord of the Rings deck. Yeah, I haven't done it in a while. And like I said, it's fun. I really don't like tarot. I don't like reading it the way everybody else does, because I feel like all the metaphysical people know what the answer is before I even say it. So I like to shake things up and read oracle decks, but I am really thinking about maybe using the Lord of the Rings tarot deck, but reading it more as an oracle deck. And I think that would be a lot of fun for us. And maybe we can do that next week. And LaDonna says, thank you so much. Yes, you are very welcome. Cassie says, Lord of the Rings or Soulful Woman. I think my first reading was the Lord of the Rings. Probably, because I used to read from it a lot. I was like super excited when I first got it. Deja says, thank you. I need this. I tend to focus on what I don't want, and most certainly need to focus on manifesting what I do want. It's the kick in the butt I needed. And yes, okay, so there's like a bunch of people commenting Lord of the Ring deck, so I'm definitely going to read from the Lord of the Ring deck next week. Deja, on that note, you are not alone. You are not alone. Anybody in this existence who goes through things that are painful, who goes through sickness, illness, who goes through things that they would rather not, is in some way attracting things that they don't want. So that's all of us. None of us are God. I'm trying so hard. I want to like become this like awesome, all-knowing being that knows everything and is super wise and never attracts anything bad. And I just don't feel like I'm there yet. I will make a YouTube video on how to do it as soon as I figure it out. But I mean, realistically, that's never going to happen. You know, we're never going to figure everything out. But I do think sometimes reading and coaching and things like that, just meeting with people who are like-minded, who can talk to you, it helps you think about the world differently. And while we're all on this journey and we're all on a journey of intention, we're all on a journey of manifestation and of becoming who we are supposed to be, I think it's nice to have that companionship along the way. I think that the journey of life is very isolating because we go through all of these things and essentially we go through them alone, we have to walk this world by ourselves, and we have lots of passing connections. Some of us are lucky enough to have partners who we have for decades or years. And I think that that's really beautiful. But even if you have the most loving, supportive partner in the world, the most loving, supportive family, the most loving, supportive friend circle, you still have to walk through challenges alone. Other people can hold you. Other people can support you. Other people can pat you on the back, but you have to do the heavy lifting. And I think that's why being intentional is so important, because being intentional is different than this idea of attaining enlightenment, right? If we're intentional, we know that we're always going to be intentional. We're always going to be working on ourselves. But if we achieve enlightenment, then we become some sort of like pariah, and we're like, I'm this dude that figured out everything. And I don't think that exists in this plane of reality. I think we're here to journey. We're here to experience, and we're here to get better at this energy thing and of learning and understanding. This is all an experience for us. And I am very happy to be here on this experience. OKC Mama comments, says she would like a reading. I would love to read for you. I'm doing throwing bones tonight. So please comment a yes or no question. And in addition to that, be specific. Give me time frames if your question is time sensitive, and also do not ask anything you do not want to know. So yes or no question in the comments. I'm going to pull another Ask and It Is Given deck. We're getting real philosophical tonight with our Ask and It Is Given principles. I really like this one too. It's very inspirational for me. I really used it a lot in my life, and it's been very helpful. And so this card says, behind my every desire is my desire to feel good. This is the stuff we're talking about, people. Look at this nice little person chilling out in flower fields, just chilling, just being. There is no desire that anyone holds for any other reason other than they believe that they will feel better in the achieving of it. Whether it's a material object, a physical state of being, a relationship, a condition, or a circumstance. At the heart of every desire is the desire to feel good. And so I love this. I love this. This is what we're talking about. We are talking about... Brittany Alexander says, when I said enlightenment, the stream got brighter. Yeah, it's the powers. I'm telling you, it's the powers. They're always working. Oh, hang on one second. Oh, I can't remember. Okay, see, Mama, if you're still here, ask a yes or no question. But anyways, this card is about feeling your desires and not feeling sad for them or not feeling guilty for your desires. And I think that really is the first step to radical self-care and to living your authentic person. You cannot be authentically you unless you know what you want. You cannot be authentically you unless your needs are met. This is why I'm so passionate about social justice and advocacy and equity in our lives, because there are so many people walking around this earth where we all have the resources to pool together to help each other. There's people that have hard lives, really hard lives. And I think it's unnecessary. I think we have so many resources and so much technology and so much, potential and capability. We have so much that's afforded to us. Nobody should suffer. Nobody should suffer. Nobody should ever suffer. And I think that suffering ends with you. Suffering ends with your mind. Suffering ends with your mindset. And suffering ends when you decide for yourself that you're going to focus, you're going to prioritize your well-being. It's different. It's different than what anybody else has ever said to you. Everybody says that we have to sacrifice for the common good and that we have to pay our taxes so society doesn't fall apart and all this other stuff. And while I'm not advocating tax fraud, I do feel like you need to prioritize your mental well-being, your physical well-being, prioritize you, prioritize being you and feeling you and know what that feels like. And that is the first step. That is the first step to your unlimited potential. All right. Marissa asked a yes or no question. She says, will I have a career change in the next 3 months? If no, 6 months. So we'll ask for 3 months and then I'll ask for 6 months if I get not a positive answer. We'll see what happens. But anybody else tuning into the stream, feel free to comment a yes or no question and I will answer the question. I'm throwing bones, not doing cards tonight. So it's a little bit different, but Marissa, will she have a career change in 3 months? Okay. Oh, geez. You got 3 goats and 1 sheep. So in 3 months, it says your work and deeds will not have any success. So what that means to me in 3 months is that it's good. Again, I said this before when somebody asked about career. It's good to keep your options open. It's good to talk to other people. It's good to put your resumes out, but it might not happen in 3 months. Maybe now is a planning phase. Maybe now you figure out what it is you really want to do. Maybe now you plan to create that career move that really moves you forward and supports you and sustains your life. And then we'll ask another question. Will Marissa have a career change in the next 6 months? Okay, 3 sheeps and 1 camel. And it says unsuccessful. It's just like unsuccessful, period, end of story. I don't know what that means. I really don't know what that means. Maybe you don't need to change careers. Maybe you need to change, jobs. Maybe you need to change firms. Maybe you need to change who you're working with or shift the construct of how you are working. Maybe you feel really stressed out because of circumstances. How can you address those circumstances in the current job, in the current position that you're in? I don't know. Again, I don't know much. But what I do know is I can ask you questions for reflection. And so if there are things in your job that you can change, there's, man, what's the worst that they're going to do? That's what I want to ask you. What's the worst that they're going to do? If things are going on in your job, you don't like them, say something. Say something. Nobody is going to get anything to change unless you speak up. Again, make your needs known. That's a really strong message that I have tonight, but especially for you, Marissa, make your needs known, especially at your job. If you feel like people are speaking to you in a way that you don't appreciate or they're acting in a way that you don't appreciate, open up and tell them. And what's the worst thing that they're going to do? Are they going to fire you? Oh my God, how horrible. You would get unemployment. Oh man, you would get to stay home and look for another position and get paid to do so. So my general advice would be keep your options open, but don't feel afraid or feel ashamed to speak up about your needs, especially at work, especially with your work folks, your coworkers. Somebody says, hi, Brittany. Hi, Facebook user. Anybody who is joining now, if you ask a yes or no question in the comments, be specific and don't ask anything you don't want to know, but I will throw bones for you. I'm throwing bones tonight. No cards. Well, I'm doing ask and is given here and there intermittently, but throwing bones. So I need yes or no questions. Feel free to ask them. OKC Mama says, will I receive confirmation on my changes in 6 months? So I'm going to ask that. And if I get a negative answer, I will ask 12 months. Okay. Will OKC Mama receive confirmation of changes in 6 months? Within 6 months. And we got 2 sheeps and 2 horses. And so what this means is that the energy, like it's even, it's level, it's moving forward, but there's something that's like just a little bit blocked about it. And so what I would recommend in terms of this situation is that forget confirmation, go out and seek your answers. And I don't really know what the situation is, but I would say that means being annoying and following up with people. If it's something related to business or something like that, don't wait for people to give you confirmation. Go out and find it yourself. If this is a spiritual matter, then I would strongly suggest going out and doing like hard ritual. Like, I mean, ditch the kids for a weekend and go out to the woods and don't come back home until you get an answer. Or like I said, if this is business, then this means you're going to have to pester people. So this is a message of tenacity, a message of persistence, a message of moving forward. It's not a message of blocks, like overall blocks, like this is not going to happen. It's more of a message of this will happen, but you have to do something to facilitate that change and to facilitate that moving forward. Marissa says she plans to move and she's asking to move offices. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, what I am thinking is you said, I'm hoping that the moving of offices will be a positive change and will make the current situation better. So that might be the case. Maybe this is the shift that you've been waiting for. Maybe this is a shift that you need. Maybe this is a shift that you manifested, Marissa. Maybe you have been working so hard and putting that intention out so hard for a couple years now that what is going on is not harmonious in your life. And maybe the powers, again, they're shifting and they're aligning to meet the energy that surrounds you, which is a different energy than the energy a couple years back. And so I would say that that's good. That moving, that shifting energy, that feels great to me. That feels like it does bring change for you, which I think is really good. Sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes you just need change. Sometimes you don't need to radically throw everything away to find something new. Sometimes you just need to make peace with what you have and to make it work for you. And like I said, if things are toxic or you don't like the way things are, it's like just the worst thing that you can do is call it out and get fired. Like, so what? What's going to happen? Maybe like other people don't think that way, but I totally do. Like, I just feel like I'm a millennial. I don't have brand loyalty. I don't really have a lot of company loyalty. I like the people I like, and I like small businesses. But I stand by what I said before. No company owns you. And I feel like you're always replaceable to a big company. And to you, that big company is life sustaining. They sign your paychecks, they make sure that you eat, and they provide work for you. So you have a lot more investment in a company than a large company has in an employee. And so again, my recommendation is always be solid. Be like, you walk into a room and people are going to be like, oh my gosh, it's that person and they know what they want. And I'm irritated because I don't know what I want. Make people upset when you walk into a room. Like, that's goals right there. If I want anything in my life, it's to be like an old, like 85-year-old lady who just is mad all the time. And I like walk in a room and people are like, shh, grandma's here. She's going to get you. I'll be like throat punch Thursday, like every day of the week when I'm 80. It'll be wonderful. And you guys will all be there well into my old age. We'll all be crotchety together. I can't wait. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a final ask and it is given card. This has been so much fun tonight. Next week, we will pull from the Lord of the Rings deck and we'll do 2-card draws again and we'll read it like an oracle deck because that's most fun. But thank you everybody who's tuned in. Oh man, this is the same card I got last week at the end of the at the end of the session. So this card says, but what about all those innocent little babies? And we'll talk about parenting again this week, I think. But just as a quick reminder, please support me on Patreon. That really super helps me. If you don't support me on Patreon, please follow me on social media. It's free to share. It's free to tell people that I'm here on the internet every Thursday at 7. And yeah, I hope you tune in again next week. But again, Abraham Hicks says, what about all those innocent little babies? And this card says, even your babies are offering vibrations that the universe is matching. And like you, your little ones are influenced by the vibration of those who surround them. But nevertheless, they are creating their own reality. And like you, long before their physical birth, they set into motion the life that they are experiencing right now and living. We talked last week about being nice to kids, about empowering their intuition, about teaching them to listen to themselves, specifically because Nobody else is going to do it. The world is not going to do it. Companies are not going to do it. I don't think public education is going to do it. I don't think anybody is going to sit there and tell kids, yeah, listen to yourself, do what's right. They're going to say, no, kids, study hard, go to college and rack up student loan debt, live a normal life, live a life that is inside the constructs of my box and my society. And this might be crazy, right? But I feel like all the parents alive today, all the old folks who have kids or who have influence over kids, we're trying to raise our kids up to be a part of our generation. We're trying to raise our kids up to learn lessons that fit how the world is today. And nobody can fault you for that. You're doing the best that you can as a parent or as a caretaker to children. But you have to understand there's got to be some surrender. There's got to be some give. There's got to be some flexibility. There's got to be some release there. The world that exists today will not be the world that our children live in. Take as long as you need to with that. The world that we live in today will not be the world that our children will live in. We will have an entirely different world in 10, 20, maybe even 5 years. You don't know what the world's going to look like. So what is best is to empower these little people to listen, to be creative, to have critical thinking, to be able to think for themselves, to be able to understand how to carve out a place in the world where they are responsible for their own joy. Will they take personal accountability for their own joy and for their own mental and emotional well-being? And it starts with you. It starts with you. And maybe this is a little mean, but hey, it's Throat Punch Thursday. If you have kids or you intend to have kids and you don't take care of yourself, what are you teaching your kids? If you have kids and you don't make time for friends, what are you teaching your kids? If you have kids and you don't shower enough or you don't eat good food because you feel like you're rushed and you feel like you don't deserve it, what are you teaching your kids? If you are burnt out, if you are snappy, if you are short, and if your fuses are fried, what are you teaching your kids? You're not teaching your kids to prioritize mental and emotional well-being. And yes, I know I am a mother. I've been stuck at home with my kids for a year now, doing a lot less work than I used to. I'm with my kids all of the time. But it's not an excuse. Your kids didn't ask to be here, and your kids deserve better than what you give yourself. You deserve better than what you give yourself. And so every time you make a habit, you make a priority to take care of yourself, to prioritize your mental well-being, to teach your kids about boundaries, to teach your kids about intuition, every time you do that, you benefit them and you benefit the world that will exist far into the future when your children are adults. But if you don't take care of yourself, you're not teaching your kids good coping skills. And this is something that we're all guilty of. Do better starting tomorrow. Do better starting tonight when you get off this live stream with me. Do better. Every time you see a little kid, or if you're taking care of little kids, prioritize boundaries, prioritize good communication, good conflict resolution, and teach these kids about their intuitions, because this is a lesson that we're all learning well into our 20s, 30s, 40s, some of us 50s. We're learning these lessons about intuition, and kids already know. We unlearn them. We teach them to listen to construct instead of their intuition. And that is a travesty, my friends. That's a travesty. So set a good example. That is my throat punch for the end of the night. Set a good example for yourself and for others, especially for little kids. Teach them good boundaries, and take care of yourselves. I want you to spend the rest of the week, maybe even the whole weekend, like frolicking, dude. Go frolic in the grass, go roll around in the mud, go be a little kid, go find bugs, go pick dandelions. Maybe you eat some dandelions. They're super good for you. But go enjoy the spring, go enjoy the sun on your face, and make time for yourself. Make time to sit in who you are and to love and appreciate all that you are and all of your presence. I love you guys so much. I appreciate you all for watching, and tune in again next Thursday at 7 p.m. for another Throat Punch Thursday.